We're so excited to have you guys here. And thank you so much to our audience for joining us for the Big Draw 2021 Make the Change. My name is Tracy Timmer, and I'm the Public Programs Manager at the Walt Disney Family Museum. We have a very special workshop today. Create your own sustainable superhero shield with cardboard superheroes Connor and Bauer Lee. High school students Connor and Bauer will start with a presentation about their nonprofit business, Cardboard Superheroes, and then we'll be teaching all of us how to make a superhero shield out of materials you can find around the house. The audience is welcome to submit questions using the Q&A feature in the Zoom platform if you have any questions about the shield making process. And also at the end of the event, you can submit questions as well. Please be sure to submit all questions to the Q&A section, which should be at the bottom middle of the Zoom screen. We won't be answering questions in the chat function. If you find the chat distracting, you can minimize it on your screen so that it's not visible. Also, please note, due to time constraints, we won't get a chance to get to all the questions at the end, but we'll get to as many as we can. Connor and Bauer have provided downloadable instructions and a template for making your shield, which was sent out with your Zoom invitation and is also available on our Big Draw event page on our website under Cardboard Superheroes. If you haven't already, I suggest downloading these pages and printing them out. And now, without further ado, we'd like to welcome the Cardboard Superheroes, Connor and Bauer Lee.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm Connor.
And I'm Bauer.
And we're the founders of Cardboard Superheroes. If you want to learn more about us or check out more of our models, you can go visit our website, which is www.cardboardsuperheroes.com.
So we're so excited to join you for the Walt Disney Family Museum and the Big Draw Festival 2021 Make the Change. For those of you who didn't know, this year's Big Draw Festival is all about conservation and sustainability, which is why we're going to be teaching you to create your very own superhero shields out of recycled cardboard.
As you can see, our superhero models are all made out of cardboard, as you can see behind us. And by using our waste like cardboard and by repurposing it, we can help save our planet.
We also love to save all of our Amazon cardboard boxes and any other shipments that we get. And like Connor said, it helps us reduce our waste and it can help save our planet. And all of you who are, going to be building a shield with us are actually helping by participating in the Big Draw Festival.
Now we're going to start building. So the first thing is just a supplies list check that we have right here. And so you just want to make sure with you have cardboard, a hot glue gun, scissors, and tape. And then we also would like you to print out the template as well, which also can be located with the supplies list, and it should be sent with you on the Zoom link.
So we're first going to start off by building the shield base, and then we're going to go ahead and add some of the extra designs onto it to create a shield that could possibly look like this or whatever other designs that you guys want to create. So that's going to be actually the second page of your template, which looks like this. It should have circle, pentagon, and then shield, 5 pieces. And the first thing you're going to do is make a rough cut of all of these pieces.
So by rough cut, you don't need to cut perfectly on the line. So I'll show you an example right now. So right here, you can see this is a rough cut. You don't have to cut perfectly on the lines. This is because when we add this to the cardboard, we're actually going to make them a lot neater.
All right, so now that you guys have made a rough cut of your 3 pieces, we're now going to tape them onto your cardboard. And like Connor said, it's okay if your pieces aren't exactly cut on the black lines, because now once we tape it onto the cardboard and cut it out, we're going to cut it out exactly that way the pieces come out perfect.
So you're just going to go ahead and tape the sides of your pieces.
And then for the shield 5 pieces, you're going to use the same template and basically keep taping it on 5 different times and cut out 5 of these exact pieces.
Right, so now that, so once you finish taping all of your pieces down, you can go ahead and cut them out. And this time you want to make sure to cut on the black lines. So here's the circle piece, which is completed now. And as you can see, it's neat and it fits right in the shape of the circle right here.
And then you're going to continue doing this for all of your pieces.
So as you're cutting, please take your time because cutting cardboard with scissors can be hard. And so just take your time, especially with the curved lines, and maneuver your scissors around.
Yeah, and then also a really important tip is to pick good scissors to cut with. So we found out that kitchen scissors work the best, and so that's what we're using. But any big, large scissors that you guys have will actually work perfect with cardboard.
So if you want to steal your parents' kitchen scissors, this would be a good time right now.
Do you ever use like X-Acto knives or anything like that, or just scissors?
We do use X-Acto knives. And this is more for like intricate designs, especially like within a cardboard. And if we're not cutting a shape, but actually a shape within a shape, that would be a perfect use for X-Acto knives. But based off of our experience, we actually found that KitchenAid scissors are the best. So we took our mom's KitchenAid scissors and now we have like 6 of them in our house.
Sure, your mom is like, why are my scissors so dull?
All right, so now you should have 3 of your pieces cut out and you're not done cutting yet because the shield, it says 5 pieces. And so we're actually gonna be reusing this paper right here and we're gonna be placing it on the cardboard 4 more times to cut it out. So we can get a total of 5 pieces.
Yep, and so you're gonna, again, just tape it onto your cardboard and then cut out the pieces, the shield piece 4 more times. That way you have 5 in total.
So just like we're reusing, repurposing this cardboard, you can also reuse your template pieces so that you don't waste extra paper as well.
And we just had a question come in from Jay, who wants to know what character or superhero is on your t-shirts.
So this is our own logo superhero. This is like a cardboard superhero. So we have a cardboard box created into like a human figure, and we have a cape on the background. And this kind of actually resembles one of my very first creations, which you can find a picture of on our website. So I think I was around 6 or 7 years old. I stacked a bunch of cardboard boxes together and created like my own first life-size superhero.
6 or 7, that's amazing.
And then also one thing you can do, which is what I'm going to do right now. So if you already cut out one of your template pieces, you can actually just align it to another piece of cardboard. And either you can use a pencil to basically trace it out and then cut out that piece. Or what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hold it up just like that to the cardboard, and I'm just gonna use my scissors to cut around it.
And Maya just posted a link in the chat to Connor's first cardboard creation, if anyone wants to check that out.
Thank you.
How long does it take you guys to make a typical character like the one behind you?
So the one behind us, which is Black Manta, that one took probably 8 months to build. So yeah, they're not short-term projects. They definitely take a lot of time to build. But you know, it's a lot of fun at the very end, like after all of your hard work, to be able to, you know, look back and see like a finished product and all the hard work you put into it. And so you guys kind of get to experience that today. You know, we'll be spending like 45 minutes to an hour, and you'll be putting a bunch of hard work into building your very own shield.
So actually we designed this shield so that you would learn an engineering design technique, which is implementing curves with flat cardboard shapes. So this is something that you can actually see on like the head and the arms, where we manipulated cardboard that's a flat shape into a three-dimensional curve.
So we just finished cutting out all of the pieces. So you should have 5 shield pieces right here.
1 pentagon piece. And finally, you also want a circle piece as well. And then for the extra design elements that you see on this paper right here, we'll cut that out later after, and you can add this on in any way you want.
And then, yeah, that's to create designs like this one, for example. And then also
some more ideas for you. So this is what we were able to come up with the designs. You can also create your own design as well. So whatever you want. And this would also be a good time to get your hot glue gun out. And you don't need a one this size, but this is the one we use to build the models, as you can see behind us. But you can plug this in so it can start heating.
All right, so the first thing, once you guys finish cutting out all of your pieces, is because, as you can see on the shield, it has sort of this dome shape to it. And the way we do that is by curving the cardboard. And the technique we use is actually up against our table. You can't see our table right now, but yeah, we'll use our chair as the example. You're basically just gonna put your cardboard to the edge of your table or chair, whatever you're using to fold it, and then you're just gonna slowly press down. And as you press down, you're going to keep moving the cardboard back. And then in the end, you kind of get this nice curved shape, as you can see. And then we're going to be doing it both horizontally and vertically. So I curved it this way. Now I'm going to be curving it the other way. So,
and you can also use your hands as well. It is a little harder to do that, but you can also just use it to fix any of the flat edges that might come up when you're curving.
And so this is what one of your shield pieces should look like once you've finished curving it. And you're going to do that to all 5 of them.
Here's the curve both ways. And so right now we're actually building this outer rim right here. And so as you can see, this is curved both this way and this way. So we can get a 3-dimensional like half circle shape.
And then if you guys ever on any of your pieces have this kind of, you know, like we have this little print, it's just like a 1 and a 6, and you guys don't want that to be shown on your shield, curve it so that's on the inside, so that the shield is concave on that side of the shield piece, just like that.
You can kind of see that with our Amazon box right here. We hit out all this like extra tape and other designs so we can leave our shield completely free, a blank canvas for us to design on.
All right, so now we have finished curving all 5 of our shield pieces. And now we're going to start the fun part, which is assembling it together to start building your shield. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to grab 2 of the shield pieces. We're just going to start out with 2 of them, and we're going to connect them together. Make sure they're both curved the same way. So kind of like this. They're both curved the same way. And basically on the edge, it doesn't really matter whether you put it together like this or on the opposite side like that. You just want to connect them. You're going to put a line of glue on one side, and then you're just going to glue them together. And make sure to hold it for like 30 seconds to like a minute, just to make sure it completely solidifies. Because if you don't, you'll notice that the glue starts to come apart and it'll fall off.
And please also just be careful where your fingers go, because if you touch the hot glue gun, you might get a burn. So I would just recommend touching on the outside right here for safety, and then aligning it like so, and just try to stay away from this middle line right here.
Yep. So you can see that I put glue on the very edge, and then now I'm just going to take my piece and place it right on top, just like that. And then, yeah, you're going to continue doing this with all of the pieces so that it wraps all the way around.
So again, right here, we're attaching these pieces so you can see right on the back, at least you can see the glue line right here. And so this is where we'll be connecting the pieces together. And if you have a different setting, so for example, this glue gun right here has 2 settings for extremely hot and hot as well right here. So I would recommend you flipping it over to the less hot setting. And so that way you'll be able to avoid any burns, so that if you do end up touching the hot glue gun, you can just wipe it off. And just a simple technique, if you get hot glue on your finger, the best way is actually just to rub your fingers together really quick. And that way it'll get rid of all the heat.
So now I finished gluing together 2 of the pieces, and then you're just going to continue this process by gluing another one of the shield pieces.
We've had a few more questions come in. Ezra wants to know, where do you see your project in 10 years? And are you planning to use other materials other than cardboard?
So,
for where will we see our project?
well, we have actually a STEAM curriculum that we released. And so this was released to schools all across the nation and the country. And so this is actually one of the models in that course where we teach engineering design. So that's in 10 years, we hope that schools are using the arts in their education and implementing that. And we want to be one of the people to help teach that, and so that teachers can have resources to be able to teach art to their students in a way that's educational and fun at the same time. So that would be a goal, and just expanding upon that curriculum and just keep on teaching new skills to people.
And then in terms of like other materials, this was actually one example. So this is it's a shield that we built, and we actually built it out of an old sled. So it's completely metal, as you can see on the back. So we built it out of metal sled, and it's basically what you guys are building now, which is a shield, but instead of cardboard, we built it out of metal sled. So that was another material we experimented with.
Very cool. Sounds like you guys have big plans.
Yeah, so actually our STEAM curriculum, we were fortunate enough to reach schools across California We had some in like India as well, and Argentina use the curriculum. So we're really excited. We're just pushing that out as well. So if you want to check that out, you can actually visit our website for more info. And there is actually a course of 10 or more actually models to build. And we'll also teach you some engineering design elements that hopefully by the end of the course, you can maybe try and build one of your own life-size models.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
All right. And Connor, you answered this in the beginning, but I think maybe some people joined late. But if you both want to answer, how old were you when you started doing this?
So I built my very first like basic model when I was around 6 or 7 years old. And I was just stacking up cardboard. But in terms of actually cutting and gluing it together, I built my very first model in around 4th grade. And so after that, I kept on building more and more until when my brother joined, and he joined around the same.
Yeah, about 4th to 5th grade. That's when I joined as well, to start creating sort of our cardboard superhero, like sort of empire and all of our collection of superheroes.
So yeah, you can see a few of them right behind us right now, and you can see the legs of another right there. And so we're keeping on making some, and we actually have some exciting new projects coming out as well.
That's great.
I'll just go into this.
Yeah, so if you guys see us like touching the hot glue, it's because after so many years of building and being and with experience with hot glue, we're so used to like the heat because we burned ourselves many times. It's not fun, but at least one good thing that comes out of it is sort of we build up a tolerance to the heat. So now we're okay with like touching it and rubbing it off really quickly.
You have hot glue calluses.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so before you guys connect this last part right here, I recommend reinforcing the back of the shield. And so here's an example of that. As you can see, there's extra glue lines right here. And this way, when you connect these pieces and all the tension that's brought here, it'll be supported by the hot glue. You want to show?
So we'll show you an example of this.
And I recommend that you keep holding the piece together because this hot glue will melt the already solidified hot glue. So just keep on holding it so that it's supported.
Yeah, so we're just going to go over the same line that you glued on previously, and then you're just going to put like a blob of glue down that line, and then you're just going to hold it and wait for it to solidify. Yeah, and then I guess another tip, if you guys are a little bit impatient, sometimes I get a little impatient with the hot glue when it takes forever to dry or to solidify and dry up. Sometimes you can just blow on it and that'll help cool it down.
So do you think you guys have engineering careers ahead of you?
Or
Yeah, for me, I've kind of always gone back and forth of what I wanted to be, but definitely engineering is something that I could see in the future. Partly just because I love building, with cardboard superheroes. I get to experience that, and that's just something that I really enjoy. And so yeah, I definitely see that becoming something that I might do in the future.
And for me, I actually have always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so I kind of get to do that with Cardboard Superheroes, starting this business and being able to help it grow. And another one of my passions is actually filmmaking. And so one of the reasons why I built all these shields and these models is because I wanted to have props to use when I'm filmmaking.
It's amazing. I'm so impressed by both of your entrepreneurial and engineering
Thank you.
skills.
And actually,
My
you want to go to Disney Imagineering, right?
Yeah, Disney Imagineering. My dad told me about it, and that's something that when I heard about it, the first time I heard about it, I was completely blown away by it. And I guess that would be sort of like a dream thing for me to sort of accomplish or sort of get to in the future. So I guess that would sort of be one of my goals.
Totally. Maya just slacked me and said, maybe Disney Imagineer. So we're on the same wavelength.
All right, so now that you supported all of your pieces with glue, you can finally attach the last piece right here. So again, you're gonna do the same exact thing. You're gonna glue a line right here and attach it again and make sure to hold it for around 30 to a minute, 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah, and this one you're definitely gonna wanna hold it for a little bit longer because this is the last piece. It will have the most tension against it.
So,
And then, yeah, now you're gonna start getting out your circle piece because this is gonna be the next piece that we're gonna be adding to our shield. Yeah, so this circle piece, it's actually gonna go on the back side of the shield and it's just gonna cover up the hole that the shield creates. And it's gonna go about right there.
so there's actually two ways of going about that stuff. You can also pre-attach the pentagon piece on the circle as well. So it's up to you to decide. You have two options to use. So there might be some imperfections after you make this shield. So for example, right here, we actually have a little bit of a gap up here. So you can use your scissors and you can just trim that part right here so that smooth again. That way that it's perfectly round, as you can see right here. And so you might have guessed already, but this pentagon piece fits perfectly right in the center of this circle, like so.
Oh yeah, but because it's a little bit difficult to glue this pentagon piece right here where it's just kind of floating around, the first thing you're gonna do is, there's two ways to go about this, but the way we're gonna do it is first gonna glue this pentagon shape into the middle of this circle.
And you want to try to align all the points with the ends of the circle right here. And it doesn't have to be a perfect fit, but just try to make the pentagon as centered as possible.
Also, I want to add, we will be replaying this event. So if anyone didn't have their supplies today or is falling behind, you can find it on our Facebook and YouTube page starting on Tuesday at noon.
So right here, we have the centered circle piece with the pentagon in the middle. And it fits just like a puzzle. And it will fit right inside like that. And so the spot you want to glue this on is right in these gaps right here. So in between the end and the pentagon side. So you want to put glue right there. And again, so this gluing process doesn't have to be perfect at all. This is the time you can definitely get messy with the glue because we're going to be hiding that right behind the shield. Yes, there we go. So you're going to fit that right here. And before the glue solidifies, just make sure to realign it so that it fits perfectly, and hold it for around 30 to 60 seconds, depending on how hot the glue is. And there you have it. You have your finished base, and it should have this nice curve right here. So here's our examples.
And then now it's the time to put on your creativity caps, because now you guys are going to start building your own designs. So if you guys printed out the template, you guys should see on pages 3 and 4 that we do have some templates there for extra designs. And those templates will create these 3 shields right here. But yeah, but it's totally up to you. You guys don't have to use the templates we gave you. If you want to create your own design, you know, think of something that you really enjoy. Like, for example, we really enjoy soccer. So if you enjoy soccer as well, try to think of things that, you know, relate to soccer, maybe the soccer ball, or, you know, the soccer goal. And you might want to try to figure out ways of how to go about cutting out that specific piece or shape to create your very own personalized shield.
So actually, another thing you can also do is these parts fit perfectly in a certain area. So this template piece fits perfectly right in the center of the shield right here. But you can also manipulate that piece right there. And so I actually use that piece somewhere else, and I trimmed the edges so that it would fit with the shield. And so that way I would have this kind of like lightning storm theme to it. All right, so here are what the extra template pieces look like. And you can reuse as many as you want. You can also create your own design. And like Barry said, if you're a soccer fan or a basketball fan, you can maybe create a soccer ball themed a shield or anything you want. So this is your chance to be creative. We're gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna incorporate some lightning into my design. And again, you're gonna make a rough cut of your pieces. And so this is perfect for any leftover cardboard you have with the box. And so right here we have a lightning piece.
And then just like before, you're just gonna tape it onto your cardboard and then cut it out.
We had 2 of basically the same question come in. As brothers, do you get into creative differences? If so, how do you handle it? I can't imagine working on something complex like those large models with my sister.
Yeah, so we definitely do have our disagreements sometimes. And that sort of comes on the creative side. So normally when we're building a model, for example, Black Manta, you know, we print a bunch of pictures of him. So they're sort of like, we try to follow it as specific as possible based off of what whoever like the designer of Black Manta was. We try to follow that. But then whenever we want to sort of add our own design to it or our own, you know, creative detail to it, you know, we definitely do have our preferences of what we like more on the model. For example, for like Black Manta, you can't see it right now, but he actually has a spike ball. So that was a preference that I wanted to add on him. But then, you know, Connor might have his own preferences. Maybe he wanted to add like another type of weapon, like a sword or something. But yeah, we definitely do have our creative differences. But, you know, we try to work through it and, you know, work together to create different models.
And we also, of course, along the way, we make a lot of mistakes. And so actually right here, this shelf right here, we call it like our wall of mistakes. So this is where all of the pieces go. And you can see a pair of hands that were way too small that we actually had to scale it by like 2 times the size. And so along the way, we'll definitely, both of us will make mistakes. And it just, that's all part of the process, all part of the growing process. And if you make a mistake making this show, that's actually perfect because you'll be able to learn. And the next one you make will definitely be better. I'm actually going to cut out this design circle piece as well and implement it.
Yeah, so right now we're using some of the pieces from our template to add onto our own shield, but we're also gonna, you know, be a little bit more creative, and we're also just gonna add other shapes that we think might look cool in the end when putting together the shield.
If you have like a cool design that you can trace, let's say maybe you wanted actually like a hot glue gun shape or a scissor shapes, you want a crafting shield, you can trace out with a pencil the design of the scissors and cut it out as well. So that's also another way of getting new designs. And also you don't need to use just cardboard for your shield, although we like to just stick with cardboard. We've seen a lot of students in the past use like extra things like duct tape and glitter, and so you can color your shield in any way you want. So this is totally up to you. That the possibilities are endless. So it's just whatever you want your superhero shield to be.
Yeah, so I just finished out cutting out the lightning bolt on the template. And so that's what I'm going to be adding to the shield. And then Connor's cutting out another piece that we're going to be adding on as well.
So maybe we'll have this circle right here, and then maybe add the
Lightning bolt on top.
right on top. So here's just, you can use your imagination and just layer pieces as well. So it's just all up to you.
And someone would like to know, how many models have you made?
Let's see, how many models have we made? I've lost count.
Yeah, so for the bigger models,
Around like 8.
maybe 8 or 9 of them. But then we also actually have part of like the curriculum that my brother and I were that my brother was talking about earlier was these are some of the mini models. And so, for example, this right here is from a very popular game that's called Fortnite. And so this is like a Fortnite chess. So these are also, I guess you could consider them models, but they're much smaller versions.
So these are kind of just like the shield, and you can create some pop culture characters and make your models. And this is part of that tutorial course, and you can find this on our website. So if you're feeling extra creative and you want to learn more, you can check those out and look at the tutorials and build some more models.
And then for those, I think we've created 20 of them in total.
Yeah, around 20 of them. Not all of them are part of the STEAM curriculum, but you can find them on YouTube and build some extra models.
And we have a teacher who wanted to know, what age groups and grades is your curriculum made for?
So we align this curriculum with the NGSS standards. So, and we implemented that for middle school students and also elementary school students. But this curriculum is perfect for all ages, from just elementary all the way to even college if you want. And we actually have some Kansas University students, I think, who attended this session. So shout out to them. And so this is up to just however the teacher wants to apply them. You don't need to use this NGSS standards. You can just use the tutorials in any way you want. But yeah, so they're perfect for all ages. We also actually design the models so that the first ones in the course are easier to build. And so I guess so as you're older or you're in a higher grade, you can build the models towards the end, which are more difficult and more of a challenge.
Yeah, and then along the way, we definitely, try to implement, the design and engineering process. That way, as you're going through, you're learning different parts of the curriculum, and we're applying, of course, the design and engineering standards. That way, you can, learn different building skills and techniques.
And so the way we design each of these models is to implement something new. So for example, this shield implements like curves with cardboard, and like this head right here is showing you how to create a cube out of cardboard. So there's different elements that you can finally use. And if you want to create your own model, and that's one of our options, at the end of the course, you can create your own superhero model. And so basically use everything, every design element you learn, and just put it all into one creation.
We have another question. What's the biggest model you've built?
So the biggest model we've built so far is you can't see him right now. His half of his legs are kind of showing, but the biggest model we've built is Hulkbuster, and he's standing at about 8 feet tall right now.
And we actually made him. The reason why we made him 8 feet tall is because that's the height of our ceiling, so we couldn't make it any bigger. But yeah, that's definitely one of our favorite models, and that's kind of like we use bits and pieces of creations that we use from or like techniques that we learned from each of the other models, and we added that onto him.
Yeah, and then if anyone's curious, that one took us over a year to build.
Yeah.
So that was definitely our biggest and most time-consuming project. But at the same time, it was also the one where we made the most mistakes but learned the most lessons. And it was also the one after looking back at it, you know, we just feel so accomplished after we built that one.
Sounds like you guys stay pretty busy.
Yeah.
Definitely over quarantine, we stayed really busy.
Yeah, that was a great quarantine project that we had, and we built like more because we're students as well. We balance our time with building and school, and so over quarantine we were able, especially during summer break, we were able to really just build a lot.
We have another question from someone who says, have you ever considered not using hot glue and used cardboard slits for inserts instead?
We haven't, we have considered that, and we're definitely always trying to use new materials. So actually one of our recent models was we created like Baby Yoda, and we used paper mache for that one, or not paper mache, but like with cardboards, we kind of copied a little bit like the paper mache element. So we're definitely open to using new materials. And in terms of paper slit or cardboard slits, we haven't really used that in a model, but we have sort of used that in the interior design. So you can't really see it, but the legs behind have actually cardboard slits that we use so we can connect the top and bottom pieces together. And so that's very important, especially when we want to transport models, so that we can fit them in our car if we want to display it somewhere or anything like that.
So as you can see, we're starting to add a little bit extra designs so that our shield is, you know, starting to come together. And yours may not look exactly like ours because maybe you chose different designs to add on, but hopefully your shield looks pretty cool at the end.
Someone would like to know, how do you keep such a tall cardboard model like Hulk standing? Is it all cardboard?
So to keep it standing, that's what my brother and my brother was talking about, how we had to separate his legs from his upper body. And that was actually one of the most difficult parts, was to keep him standing and keep him balanced so that he wouldn't fall over. So the biggest thing we had to do is for his legs. For all of our models, we actually have an internal frame. And this is just basically sort of like almost like a skeleton of the model, just to keep it really strong and sturdy. And so for that, we really had to reinforce the legs of that model because there's so much weight on top that it has to hold. And so that was definitely a challenge.
And so that was one of our one of my first models that I made. That was actually a mistake. I didn't build an internal frame. And so about like a year or two ago, the model actually started breaking apart, and it just started folding from the inside. And so we've recently had to fix it and actually have half of the model. And this is, we finished fixing it. So now we've added an internal frame so you can kind of see what that looks like. So right here is the legs of one of our models, which is Iron Man. And as you can see, we have an internal frame right here that we just added. And this is kind of have the same design as the Hulkbuster right here, where you're going to we add on the top half so that the legs don't always have to support the entire body and the entire.
It's really cool. I'm sure if we have any animators out there, any animation riggers or model makers, the armature is very important.
Yeah.
And then also for the questions about, different materials, one thing that we definitely use different materials for was Hulkbuster in his internal frames. Because he's such a heavy model, because we use cardboard poles, we use cardboard for everything. Cardboard poles are basically, we get cardboard, we roll it up really thick so that it's very strong. But because he's such a heavy model, they actually started to break apart. So we have had to go back multiple times, especially in his arms, and get metal poles and put them through that way, because metal is much stronger than cardboard. That way it won't bend as easy.
Sounds like a lot of experimentation, trial and error.
Yeah, that's a big part of building, which is trial and error. A lot of times, even though yes, the finished models, they do look like maybe we got them in one try. It takes so many different tries. We make so many mistakes, have to redo pieces all the time, which is why, like Connor mentioned, this is our wall of mistakes.
And so actually one of our models that kind of gave me the inspiration for an interior frame is right here. And so as you can see, we use a mannequin for that. That one is my mom's mannequin that she never used. And so I took that and I used that to build a new model. And so that was kind of like the inspiration for an interior frame. And this one's the only model that we have not had to fix because it's never broken down. And here's kind of our design, our shield design coming together with the lightning and some extra sparks coming off. And then we're going to add like an outer rim as well. Here we can just, do you want to be inspired by other ideas? Here's some other ideas that you could use to make. So we kind of went with like a weather outside theme. So we have like the lightning, we have like a sun shield right here as well. So here's just some ideas. I like this one, it reminds me of like a storm. You have like the tornado spin with the lightning bolt inside. So that's just some of our ideas.
Another question we have you considered putting in motors in some of your models for movement?
So we've never actually had a motor inside of our models, but we always do like experimenting. So actually, thank you. That's actually a great idea.
We never thought of that.
Yeah, but for some of our models, we have sort of like Hulkbuster. It's not exactly a motor, but we make the pieces
able to rotate.
Yeah, a little bit of rotation, but then also we can also make it sort of like a transformer, able to pull apart into multiple pieces. So it's not exactly the same, but it's kind of along the same lines.
So I can actually show you an example. This isn't a motor or anything, but we also implement like magnets. And so this is another thing where we can take apart models and transport it. And also we can also rotate the models based off of the position of the magnet. So one of our models actually has like 2 positions. It can go from this to this. And so we have the magnets there, so you can connect them this way and also connect them this way. And again, when you're building these and you tape these pieces on your cardboard, when you glue them, just glue them on the side with all the extra print so that you don't have to see them on the shield.
Why do you think it's so important for kids to have a strong background in STEAM? And for anyone out there who's not sure what STEAM is, it stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
So I think oftentimes schools teach like the STEM techniques, so like science, technology, math, and engineering. And oftentimes like the art side is left behind, especially during COVID. I know a lot of schools were closing down the art programs. So we really wanted to emphasize that art works perfectly within this area, and things like Disney Imagineering are great careers that people should like pursue and try that out, because it's like a combination of engineering and arts. And I think that the mixture of all of them together creates like a whole new like fun experience that students should be able to have.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things is actually the creativity side of the arts. So a lot of times in art classes you hear like there's no mistakes in art. So that's what I think is like really important. Or what we both think is really important, the whole creativity side, to kind of think outside the box, to create something that other people wouldn't have imagined. And so that's kind of like the whole thing for like all the superhero movies that you guys have ever watched. Someone had to be creative in creating those new superhero models. Or for example, in this case, Black Manta, he's actually a super villain. But any of these models, these people had to use their creativity to imagine superheroes that nobody else would have thought of.
And also you can use like math and science and technology in art as well. So you can kind of merge across these different areas. And so one of the things we use heavily in building is math, and we use especially like the scaling factors. So that way we can scale an image that we have and print out and scale into a large life-size model.
Someone would like to know what classes in school have helped you with projects.
Definitely the math side of or subject of school is definitely helpful, especially because the way we like scale and proportion everything correctly is we first take like an image of the model, and we take that measurement, and then we find out how tall we want to make the model, and then we basically divide those two to find like a common ratio. And so that's an example of like math helping us in our building models.
Another class that I found really helpful was film class. And I had a great film teacher when I was in ninth grade, and also in fifth grade. My teacher loved filmmaking, and so that's kind of what inspired me to start filmmaking. So that was something that really helped me in the creative side and just thinking outside the box. And although that's a different element, I was able to use film and like the videos that we create, the tutorials, so you can kind of see my input in those areas as well. So that was a really great class. And then we took some art electives as well in middle school. And so that kind of just helped us with drawing and sketching and being able to kind of make a drawing and put it onto cardboard as well. And also Bauer is actually taking robotics. We both did our programming, we both did engineering. And so one thing is AutoCAD is an amazing resource that I think that people should learn as well. And so that was another thing that we used to actually design our templates and design some of the elements that you see behind us.
Yeah, and so if you guys are curious how we create all of these templates that you guys are using, is through AutoCAD. It's a great tool that we love using, and we basically gives us all the measurements correctly. That way we're able to create these templates for you guys to build.
And I think like the perfect resource to start learning all this is just through YouTube. Just search up AutoCAD for beginners, and that's what we did. And also that's what we did for editing as well. So that's how we learned. And so that's just a great free resource that you can all use. So right now you can see the shield coming in together. So we have the outer rim, some sparks, our lightning symbol as well. And the Barris finishing of one of the shields. We have two more outer rim pieces right here.
All right, so as you can see, we're almost done with the design of our shield. We just have one more of these outer rim pieces to add. And so for this last piece, if you guys are doing like a ring, you might notice that when you glue the last piece, and I'll show an example once Connor finishes cutting out the piece, it might not fit exactly within this leftover space that you have. And so if that's the case, not to worry, all you need to do is either if it's too long, you might just want to measure it and then trim the piece a little bit. That way it'll fit. And if it's a little bit too short, either you can cut out a whole new piece, but if you don't want to go through all that work again, you can just cut out a little section of however much more space you need to fill in, and then just cut a piece that big and add it.
So actually, a very important lesson when you're building is that it's always better to cut more than less, because once you cut too much in, you can never go back and add that. So I'll show you an example of what I'm doing right now. So as I'm cutting out this template piece, I left a little extra on the side, so you can see here's the paper, and then we got left a little space right here. So that way now we go back and add this to the shield, we can check, oh, so this is how much I cut extra, and so I can just make a little mark here. And now it should hopefully fit perfectly right here. So now that way you won't have any mistakes, and you'll be able to add your curved pieces. So here's our final shield design right here. And if you want, you can also add straps on to the back. And if you want to do that, you just need to get an extra piece that you have. And Barry will show you an example.
Yeah, so just really simple. You guys can just, using a cardboard piece, you guys can just cut out just a strip of cardboard.
And here's kind of an example. You have this strap piece that you can use to grab. You can go with the full on 2 straps. You can also just go with one in the middle that you can just hold.
And hopefully this is long enough. I didn't really measure it before, but you can glue the 2 sides down
like that.
Yeah, this is a little bit small for my wrist, but as you can see, sort of like the whole idea of leaving a little bit of a gap. That way you're able to fit your wrist through, and you can add 2 or 1 straps, and then that way you can have your very own shield that you can hold up.
And also, like my preference is just to have no straps, because I like to use this as more of a frisbee to throw around and catch, so we can play catch together. So that's also another fun toy that you have now as well. So you can be creative and do whatever you want.
So actually, I see a question in the chat, and it is asking, are you going to make your own cardboard costume for Halloween? So we have always actually wanted to create something where we could actually wear, because most of our models, you know, they already have like an internal frame inside of it, and so you can't really like wear it. We would love to do that. The one difficult part of that is because, like my brother mentioned before, when you don't have an internal frame, a lot of times the model tends to break down over time. And so if we did create a cardboard costume that we could wear, definitely over time it would start to fall apart, which would be unfortunate. But you know, during Halloween, it would be pretty cool to show.
And I haven't made any like cardboard costumes that I could fit in myself, but I have like made some like fabric costumes in like 5th grade. I made my own superhero costumes, so out of like fabric and just materials that I got from the store. So there's always other ways you can make costumes as well. And so we have finished our shield. So thank you so much to everyone who joined. And if you want to post these on Instagram and you tag us, or the Disney Museum or the Big Draw Festival, we'll Cardboard Superheroes will repost that on our Instagram as well. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you guys so much. That was so fun to watch. You did a great job explaining it, and it's been so great hearing about your young careers creating this business. So I'm so impressed by both of you. So thank you so much for joining us today. And even though we've reopened our museum doors, we are continuing to roll out exciting virtual programs. So don't forget to sign up for our e-news and follow us on social media for the latest announcements, and visit our website calendar at waltdisney.org/calendar for a current schedule of offerings. Members of the museum get the scoop and priority access to all programming, including our virtual programming like Happily Ever After Hours, and extended access with our members only portal, where we host recordings of all of our Happily Ever After Hours. So visit us at waltdisney.org/donate to help support all of our virtual programming through either donations or membership. Thank you so much for joining. This is our last program of the Big Draw, and we really hope you and your loved ones are happy and healthy, and we look forward to seeing you at the museum in the future. Thanks so much, Connor and Bauer.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having us.